You just check the meters. Respectfully, how much are you making right now per hour?
With tips?
There's no tips. There is no job that has less tips than your job.
But I'm allowed to accept them?
Yeah, and you shan't. You may and you shan't.
I'm allowed to. Well, I've always been afraid that I was going to chip my tooth trying to catch things in my mouth because I'm pretty confident in my ability to... My eye-mouth coordination has always been pretty good.
Flex.
Thank you. And so I'll often ask friends to get, but like peanut M&Ms and stuff like that's pretty actually dangerous. Just like tooth chipping wise. I won't say who, but somebody told me recently that they chipped a tooth because they were playing like dogs with their partner. They were like, you know how dogs play where they're you were doing, you and another human were doing that and you chipped a tooth. They're like, yeah. We were just messing around.
Dude, that's beautiful. They're in love, dude. That's crazy.
That's the real answer.
Like, how did that start? Like, you want to be dogs?
Oh, God, that's funny.
All right, well, the story lamp is lit.
Yeah.
You know what that means. Yeah. Take it away. What do we got?
Here we go. Yeah, we're talking about Moses here. We're in Exodus.
Oh, hell yeah.
And this is like just before the Ten Commandments. There's a little story here about Moses. And his father-in-law comes to town. And he brings his wife and sons, which he's thankful for. Oh. And the next day, Moses takes a seat to serve as judge for the people, and they stand around him from morning until evening. Right, just to like get...
Big judging day.
Yeah, and this is apparently what they do. They just, everybody in town all day long comes to Moses for like any issue.
It's court day.
Is there ever been like a town like that? Like why did...
Is that real?
Yeah. Is that like a... I guess if you have the prophet in your town, why not ask him everything?
Right.
Let's keep going. But it's like...
Does it not get filtered at all?
Yeah.
Like in American Idol, they're doing some baseline filtering before. The judges don't watch every person.
If the filtering is maybe what we're getting to here, because
okay.
that's kind of what his stepfather implies. So his stepfather says, he sees all this. He sees what Moses is doing for the people, and he says, what you are doing for these people is not good. Why are you alone, sitting as judge, while all of these people stand around you from morning until evening? Moses answers him, because the people came to me to seek God's will. That's why they're all here. They're all just coming to me to ask me what God would do, because I talk to God, and they can't talk to God, so they talk to me, and then I talk to God for them. That's just like the only way I have
I'm the guy with the phone that can text God. It feels like I should.
Yeah, and they don't imply that this is trivial shit, but like...
So his grass is supposed to be under 1 3/4 of an inch. That's what it says.
I think that's kind of... I think it is what they're implying, actually. I misspoke. I think it is kind of what they're implying.
Yeah.
Like, kind of
you got to delegate, my guy.
So we get to Moses' father-in-law replies, what you're doing is not good. What you are doing is not good. You and these people who come to you will only wear yourself out. The work is too heavy for you. You cannot handle it alone. Teach them the decrees and laws and show them the way to live in the duties that they perform. But select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain.
I hear about dishonest gain. I'm like, fuck that. Someone got money.
No. Who hate dishonest gain and appoint them as officials over thousands, hundreds, 50s, and 10s.
Damn, they have thousands, and he's like, all right, who's next?
And we're going down, too. We're like, do, like, the best men for the thousands, and then, like, you know, the guys we don't really trust can, like, be in charge of, like, 10 people.
Yeah.
10, 60 people. Who cares?
Yeah. They had a Supreme Court, basically. They had smaller judges.
Have them serve as judges for the people at all times, but have them bring every difficult case to you.
Right. Supreme Court is just one guy.
The simple cases they can decide themselves, and they will make your load lighter because they will share it with you.
Oh, babe, is my load lighter? Sorry.
Yeah.
Especially a doctor, I feel like my load is basically transparent.
He's invented the idea. We're in Exodus.
Yeah.
And he's invented the idea of delegation.
pretty good.
That's crazy.
That's a good invention.
Yeah, I like this story because I didn't realize I didn't realize they should talk more about inventing like concepts. The idea of RSVPing.
Yeah.
Like why it's important to call ahead if you're going to be somewhere. So
because one time Milkalel showed up and they didn't have enough seats for him or whatever.
Right. And everyone felt embarrassed and everyone was smited. So like,
and then there was a slaughter.
Right. So then
to drive it home.
Was sick. Yeah.
If in ancient Israel walked in a theater like, there was a slaughter. The movie ended. There was no slaughter. What kind of ending is that?
So I really like that idea. I will say, though, that I was kind of questioning why this is taught by, like, Moses' father-in-law and not, like, God. Like, if he's talking to God, like, God could have been like, here's a delegation. Or, like, you know, like, or God seems like Moses was doing fine, is what he's like, actually, I gave him this to not do. I'm not sure if I'm done with this delegation thing. This is all to say, the very next story, there's one story after this, and then the next one is the Ten Commandments.
Wow.
So my theory is that God saw Moses get advice, a little bit of advice, like, hey, you should break up your responsibilities. And then was like, okay.
Let me lay it down for you.
Let me give you the advice.
I love how petty he is too. Like in writing, let me write this down for you.
Hey Moses, I'm glad you're like taking like little tips and like shit from like your elders or whatever. Like that's super cool. And I like trust me. I'm going to tell you to respect your elders. Trust me. It'll be in there. It won't be the top. But it won't be the top one because you know what the top one's going to be.
Are we doing the 10 C's? Let's go.
What are you watching? I'll tell you. It's Holy Smokes with Scoochie Boochie. It's a comedy podcast where we smoke good and read the good book. It's kind of like Drunk History, but with weed and the Bible. I'm the host, Scoochie Boochie. I was born from a volcano, and now I'm the best rapper in the United States. I got rap comedy concept albums on Spotify, YouTube, and what's that on the fence? Oh, that's my merch. That's weird. How'd that get there? But I got an improv background. I got a ton of funny friends here in Chicago. So every week I invited one of them over and had them try to tell me a Bible story while blazed. And the results are hilarious. We do improv scenes based on those stories. So whether you know anything about the Bible or you're fully steeped in it, either way it's hilarious because I got funny friends. And the Bible is a wild, wild book from a very, very different time. So I hope you enjoy Holy Smokes with Scoochie Boochie. Hit like, please comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, and help us reach a goal of 4,200 followers on Instagram by 420. By April 20 of 2025, we're trying to hit 4,200 followers at Holy Smokes Pod on Instagram. Enjoy the show.
No, we're not doing it. No, we're not doing all of them because guess what? Number 1 is I'm your Lord, your God. Number 2 is you shall have no other gods. And here we go. All the way down here at number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Honor your father and your mother.
And listen to your mother. But I'm God, so shut the fuck up.
Thou shalt not cover your neighbor's house. Thou shalt not cover your neighbor's wife, or his manservant, or maidservant.
Don't be jealous of each other's slaves. I'm sick of that shit.
Or I'm like, why even gender them?
Dude, they owe it. We were talking about that in another episode where it's like, why do you gotta say maidservant? It's so like French maid, like weirdly sexual for no reason.
It can't. It can't matter.
Right.
Past. When speaking of potentially hypothetical past servants, it can't matter.
Nobody was like, well, surely they only had manservants. Maids! Eyes popping out. Whoa!
They don't mention it, I'll assume. So that to me kind of speaks volumes about, because I think the last story I brought previously kind of pointed out that taunting is par with what we're up against here. Like
totally.
You can taunt, you can be a little petty. And this is also kind of an example of God being like, okay, good advice. Like I'll show you some advice. But
he one-upped him.
You one-upped it big. I'll give you 10 advices.
You
have to live by them.
That's nothing.
And it is kind of leaning into his advice still, though. He's like, okay, well, I'll give you like the template if you're going to split this shit up. Like this will probably make it easy for you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice too.
Yeah, his father-in-law was. I love just the phrase. What you're doing is not good.
What you're doing is not good, and
So straight to the chase. I love it.
That's kind of why I feel like if I am a boss and I gave somebody a job and somebody told the person who's doing a good job, he's really stepping on God's toes in that moment.
Oh, I see. This guy's getting direct. He's got the direct pipeline to God getting advice, and he's like, let me tell you one other thing. Maybe you're not getting.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, I'm sorry. What? Who? I'm his best friend.
Yeah.
You don't know him like I know him.
I'm also. There's a part here that I'm kind of stuck on the parts that I wish that were included. This book isn't big enough. It's one of my biggest complaints.
It should be way longer.
It should be way longer because it should be more detailed.
The director's cut. AKA circumcision.
Yeah, I guess the father-in-law gives. There's no phone. It's so hard to meet people in these days, but that's such good advice. And
the delegation thing.
I doubt we hear from him again.
I'm trying to remember. Did they give a name to him?
I think he's just Moses' father-in-law. He's the father-in-law of. He does name Moses' wife.
Yeah.
And she has a beautiful name, and it is Zipporah.
Nice.
Moses, his father-in-law Jethro.
Jethro. Wow, that sounds like overalls and long straw in your mouth kind of name.
Okay, so I'll be investigating Jethro in my free time here because I do need to, if he ever comes up again.
That's my steppappy Jethro. Banjo.
Make other people do the work.
Classic Jethro. Ding 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 ding.
Yeah, sit on your ass a little bit more was the advice.
Rocking in his chair. Take a load off. I'm Jethro.
Jethro said, take a load off. God's giving you too much work. Take a load off.
Hey, man.
And God came back and was like, yeah, okay.
I'll tell you one other thing about that sumbitch Yahweh. He's wasting your time. You are busier than a bumblebee.
And then he leaves. I mean, that's how I do kind of want to.
The Jethro does?
Yeah.
Well, time I hit the trail.
So he gives this advice, and then he says, Moses listens to his father-in-law and did everything he said. Which, again, everything was just give out your duties. Assign different men.
Right.
Assign different men, 1,000 people, 100 people, 10 people, respectively, based on their...
You got to distribute those duties.
Based on their trust. He chose capable men, and he made them leaders of the people, officials over thousands, hundreds, 50s, and 10s. We included 50s, too, thank God. They served as judges from the people at all times. The difficult cases they brought to Moses, but the simple ones they decided themselves. Then Moses sent his father-in-law on his way.
Well, it's about time you hit the trail, step-pap. What?
Jethro returned to his own country.
I don't want to go.
Where is this?
Ding, 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 ding. That's some earlier Moses shit. You ever see the movie Prince of Egypt, the animated DreamWorks Moses movie? No. Actually, fire, really great soundtrack. I think his Steve Martin is one of the prophets of Egypt.
Is he funny?
A little bit, but they mostly sing a threatening song about how their gods are better. By the might of Horus. Great animated movie. Not just because it was allowed. But it does help.
This isn't one of the songs that you close down your shows with.
It is that song.
It is that song?
That's Jethro.
That's Jethro.
That's Through Heaven's Eyes. He's the one who's like, look at your life. Because what happens is young rebel Moses ends out in the wilderness, and they're like the wilderness folks. Who's like, hey, it's hard out here, but what little we have, we share, and we're like, God sees us as valuable. And it's like, marry my hot daughter. But as he's like getting ingratiated in that community, they're like, lie. And that song fucking slaps dick so hard, I close my shows out with it.
I had no idea Jethro was a part of that.
Turns out all along it was like a straight up bluegrass hillbilly. Look at your life, do heavens, dude, like a ripping bluegrass cover of that song would be awesome.
It really does come full circle, you know.
Oh my god, I need that banjo version of that song so bad now. It would totally work.
Oh, okay. And this is actually what I wanted to ask you. This is the crux of this of why this portion of the story is interesting to me is because this is how we're choosing the men. Capable men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain. Give me a third.
What?
They gotta be trustworthy.
Yeah.
They hate dishonest gain.
Oh, there were only two?
I mean, they fear God, trustworthy and dishonest gain. You're right there.
There's a third one.
There's a third
They're
one.
like, oh! When they hear thunder, they're like, get down. Fuck, move, go. Thunder.
They fear God. That as a phrase has really stood the test of time. That God, like a God-fearing individual.
God-fearing, yeah.
And to mean a good person.
Yeah. It's like, is that really the only or best way to make a good person? Is
Yeah.
I mean, I know their version of fear, I did the translation, it's like respect and like, not literally like spook. Like, it's not like jump scare fear.
Sure.
But there are times in the Bible where an angel shows up or God shows up and the first thing they say is, don't be scared, I know I'm scared. People are like, oh, shit. No, it's fine.
I guess, and just like God listener doesn't have the right ring to it.
Right. That's just like, it's a podcast you like.
God-fearing.
I was walking to go get some takeout and it was like dark and windy. It was one of those weird like windy days, and I was kind of high and I was walking along, and then this lady was jogging behind me, and I think on purpose she did sort of an extra little scuff to let her, because I was kind of in the middle. She was gonna come up, which is a move I've done before, but she did it so late that I jumped. I went like, and she laughed immediately. And I laughed and went, sorry, I'm sorry. She's like, I'm sorry. And it was like a mom. And I visibly like started hard. I was like, God damn it.
She's never made someone jump like that in a long time.
No. She was wearing like a high vis like yellow thing. She was like, sorry. I was like, God damn it.
The high vis is scary. You think they might be like at work.
Yeah, maybe that's someone running up to give me a ticket or something.
Yeah, true that. Get away from me.
Can we do a scene that's just like a really aggressive meter maid or person, or someone who checks parking meters, but they're just moving fast as hell.
Yeah.
You're not a superhero. Don't look at me like that. No, you're not. You act like it, but you're not. You just check the meters.
Do I need to pull out the ruler again? I have the ruler for a reason.
What?
It's like you can't get close to the curb, you idiot.
God damn it. You're trying way too hard, dude. You're getting me for closeness to the curb?
Okay, see, you said the magic phrase. I know exactly who you are, guys. Like, you try too hard. You're too good at your job. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're too good. You're too good at your job, so you should stop being good at your job.
Did they get
You're
you
sick, man?
Did they give you commission?
You tell politicians that too. They're too good at their job. They should take it easy. You should be bad at their job. You're sick, man.
What you do is not as important as how you treat it.
Everything.
I can tell you made all that extra stuff on the uniform.
There are no small parts, and there are no small uniforms.
They didn't give you all the medals. You made those medals.
did.
They did not give you medals.
They approved them.
What's that? What's the one with the five pronged, like the trident thing?
Attendance.
It's a badass logo for attendance.
Yeah, it is. They approved all these. They said I could wear all these.
What's the one that looks like kind of like a square, like a sponge?
Just doing it every day. Doing it with a positive attitude every day.
That's the doing it with a positive attitude.
That one's for me.
Okay, so you did make sense.
That one's not quantifiable. That one's not coming off the uniform unless I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice. And I would be if I let this go.
This is okay, dude.
There's no way you're gonna make me do a bad job today.
Can I ask you how much are they paying you? Respectfully, how much are you making right now per hour?
With tips.
There's no tips. There is no job that has less tips than your job.
But I'm allowed to accept them.
Yeah, and you shan't. You may and you shan't.
I'm allowed to.
There's 0
with tips.
% chance.
I make $18.49.
Bro, there's executioners that get more tips than your job.
$18.49 an hour with tips. It would go up significantly.
Look, $18.49 is not terrible, but it's not be a hero levels of pay. I'm saying you need to respect yourself more.
I live in Manhattan.
Oh, Jesus. No wonder you're ruthless.
I've written Manhattan.
You rent? No. Dude, why?
I like the energy.
No, that's stupid.
I like the energy of the
That just
sound.
means it's loud.
No,
that's
it means
not a good thing.
You idiots park so stupid in Manhattan. I love it here.
This is kind of your. It's like the holy grail of bad parking.
It's where I can be my best.
God. All right, what is it? Fine. What happens?
It's actually a guidance counseling.
What? I have to go to therapy?
Yeah.
Like, what kind? Like, for what?
For I don't know. I've never been.
We cut to me opening up the Zoom for the first time, and I'm like, really, dude? Just a mustache? You didn't even change?
You need to understand what you've been doing to the people around you, okay? Some people really, really want to do a good job, and you're not letting them do that.
Folks, thanks for watching.